Hey guys, it's the Bombay chef Varun Inamdar and welcome to Rajshri Food, which is your ultimate destination for 100% vegetarian recipes. Well, I'm making a very quick, very simple salad, which is a summery rice salad. Let's begin. Well, any salad is broken up into multiple components. Of course, the components are the main of the salad and the dressing of the salad. Let's first begin with the dressing of the salad, and this one is sweet, it's sour, it's wonderful. You'll like it, I'm sure. Well, let's begin with citrus because we all want to have something citrusy this summer. Let's begin with lemon juice. Well, you can take multiple citrus fruits. You can take oranges, you can take pomelos, grapefruits, blood oranges, anything that literally you can lay your hands on. But lemons are lemons, of course. Lemon juice to begin with, freshly squeezed. After the citrus, of course, some honey for that amazing sweetness. Well, of course, you can use maple syrup as well, but I personally like honey, much better in this recipe. To this, I'm adding in paste of yellow mustard. You can also add in mustard powder if you have that in your homes. To this, I'm adding in salt as required, remembering the fact that rice has also been cooked with salt. To this, I'm adding in freshly cracked pepper, a little more. Well, dressings usually are flavored depending on the body or the mains of the entire salad. Now, because this is rice which is flavored, rice is usually bland. It's like a canvas. You can flavor it with whatever you want. I'm adding in more of pepper because that's going to be one of the predominant flavors in this recipe. Finally, we whisk this up. Next is to add in some salad oil or some pomace. Let's add in a little at a time and whisk it simultaneously. It's always nice to add in little at a time or a thin stream of oil because that way the dressing becomes nice and creamy and it becomes amazing. If you add all of it at one shot or one time, it'll all separate and that's not what you're looking at because otherwise the salad will just end up tasting oily and you don't want that. Because of the honey initially and now because of the addition of the oil, the dressing has become nice and glossy and that's what you're looking at. Continue whisking this. Well, there are alternate methods of making a dressing. Well, you can take all of this in a jar, seal it and just shake it vigorously and you could also get a dressing. Another method is to take all of this in a glass beaker and then you blend it or whisk it, as simple as it can get. Well, it's important to follow the recipe in something like this because that way you get perfect sweetness, you get perfect sourness, you get perfect spice and it just becomes amazingly well. Whisk this all till it's nice, creamy and thick. The next step is to transfer all of this amazing dressing into another container or into another bowl. At this moment, you could also transfer this in a jar and keep this bottled till further use, refrigerated. After the dressing, let's move on to creating the body of the salad. And for that, of course, we need some vegetables. Now, these vegetables, of course, can be of your choice, but I'm using some very typical vegetables. To begin with, cucumber. After the peeling, let's move on to snipping the ends. And the cut is again completely personal. You can slice it, dice it, cut it into wedges, absolutely the way you or your family like. I'm cutting this into a half. Bringing all of these together and then slicing them nice and thick. Let's transfer this in the tossing bowl. Let's move on to tomatoes. Again, cut these into wedges and cut these into thick slices. This is that salad recipe which, of course, apart from the rice or the dressing, has a lot of ingredients which are extremely refreshing. Well, again, it's a personal thing. You can keep increasing vegetables, keep reducing vegetables depending on your choice. Well, this is one of my favorite mixes and that makes it one of my personal favorite salads. Thick slices again. Next is red onions. Again, nice and thickly cut. Let's bring in some flavors to this. Beginning with basil leaves. Again, in this you can use Thai basil, sweet basil, holy basil. Again, tulsi also adds in a wonderful Indian touch to something like this. Let's bundle all of this together and shred this nice and thick. Well, you can alternately also tear this with your fingers, and that's also nice. To this, I'm also adding in some curled parsley or curly parsley. Well, if you can't lay your hands on this, you can also add in some flat parsley or some celery for that matter. Snip off the stalks and cut this as finely as you can. Let's move on to the next and the final step, and that is assembling all of this together. For this, of course, I'm taking this entire pot of vegetables here. To this, I'm adding in boiled rice. Now, this could also be leftover rice from a previous evening. This is, of course, long grain rice. You can use rice of any variety. If by any chance you can lay your hands on black rice or wild rice or green bamboo rice, the salad goes to a completely different level. Well, but this for all of you now is basmati rice. Let's add in some parsley, like 3/4 of it. To this, some basil, which is again 3/4 of the quantity that has been cut and ready. To this, I'm adding in pomegranate seeds, fresh kernels, which brings in fruitiness, and it also brings in that element of color. To this, I'm adding in one of my most favorite summer fruits, and that is cranberries. Now, these are dried cranberries, of course. If you can lay your hands on the fresh ones, nothing like it. Let's toss all of this together. And finally, once all of this is done, well, this can directly go on the dinner table, but what's remaining here is the dressing. While coming back to the dressing, you can either dress it on the table or you can take it dressed from the kitchen itself. Choice is completely yours. Well, nice and colorful, let's bring in the dressing. The dressing has become nice, thick and absolutely luscious. You'll see that now. One quick stir and in goes the dressing. It's just got a tinge of yellow, and that's actually thanking the mustard in this and the honey. Let's toss all of this one last time. And the beauty of this salad is that this could be eaten warm or this could be eaten absolutely cold. Now, the rice that I added to this recipe was actually from the previous night, and that was nice and cold straight out of the refrigerator. One quick toss without, of course, breaking the grain of rice. And with this, your summery rice salad is done and ready. Let's transfer this straight on the salad plate. Finally, to this, let's add in the remaining ingredients. Well, if you remember, I just kept like a spoonful aside. Let's garnish this, make it look as colorful, as sumptuous, as refreshing, as luscious as you can make it look. Pomegranate, parsley, and finally, some basil leaves. India is literally the rice bowl of the world. We make so much with that staple. We make biryanis, pulaus, kheers, payasams, khichadis, and so much more. Well, this is an unusual recipe from my kitchen to yours. On that note, do not forget to like, share, and subscribe to Rajshri Food. And for more such unique recipes, stay tuned.